In the Wild West of cryptocurrency, one man was crowned king. Sam Bankman-Fried, or SBF, wasn't your typical Wall Street shark. He was a nerdy, disheveled gamer who slept on a beanbag, played video games during investor meetings, and promised to give away his entire fortune. His crypto exchange, FTX, was the darling of the industry, a $32 billion empire endorsed by Tom Brady, Steph Curry, and Kevin O'Leary. It was seen as the safest, most responsible player in a world of scams and volatility. But behind the celebrity endorsements and the promises of a new financial future, a colossal fraud was unfolding. SBF wasn't a king. He was a gambler who had found the world's biggest casino, and he was playing with other people's money. An $8 billion black hole had opened in his balance sheet, and when the world found out, the entire $32 billion empire would collapse in less than 8 days. This is the story of how a 30-year-old crypto prodigy orchestrated one of the largest financial frauds in history, how he stole billions from his own customers to fund his reckless bets, and how it all came crashing down. Our story begins not with FTX, but with a secretive trading firm called Alameda Research. In 2017, Sam Bankman-Fried, a brilliant but eccentric MIT graduate, left his lucrative job at the high-frequency trading firm Jane Street. He saw a massive opportunity in crypto, the kimchi premium. Bitcoin was trading for up to 30% more on South Korean exchanges than in the US. It was a simple arbitrage opportunity. Buy low in the US, sell high in Korea. In a few weeks, Alameda was making over $1 million a day. But arbitrage was small time. SBF had a bigger vision. In 2019, he launched FTX, a crypto exchange built by traders for traders. It was sophisticated, offering complex derivatives and financial products that no one else had. It was also user-friendly, attracting millions of retail investors. FTX exploded in popularity. They plastered their name on the Miami Heat's basketball arena, sponsored the Mercedes-AMG Petronas Formula One team, and aired a Super Bowl ad with Larry David. They were everywhere. Investors poured in billions. Sequoia Capital, one of Silicon Valley's most respected venture firms, was so enamored with SBF that one partner wrote a glowing profile titled, "Sam Bankman-Fried has a savior complex, and maybe you should too." They saw him as a modern-day JP Morgan, destined to save the financial world. SBF himself cultivated this image. He became the face of effective altruism, a philosophy about making as much money as possible to give it all away. He testified before the US Congress, lobbying for friendly crypto regulation and presenting himself as the responsible leader the industry needed. But all of it, the celebrity ads, the lobbying, the promises of charity, was a smokescreen, because from the very beginning, FTX and Alameda were not two separate companies. They were two pockets of the same pair of pants, and SBF had his hands in both. This is where the fraud begins. It's a simple secret, but one that would cost users $8 billion. On paper, FTX was just an exchange where users could buy and sell crypto. When you deposited $100, FTX was supposed to hold that $100 for you. Alameda Research was just another customer, trading on the platform like everyone else. In reality, SBF had programmed a secret backdoor into FTX's code. This backdoor gave Alameda a secret, near unlimited line of credit, funded by FTX's own customers. Alameda could withdraw billions of dollars of customer money from FTX without anyone knowing, and they did. SBF and his inner circle used that money for a series of increasingly reckless gambles. Gamble number 1: venture capital investments. Alameda invested over $5 billion in more than 100 different speculative startups. These were illiquid, high-risk bets that couldn't be sold easily. They were effectively spending customer cash on lottery tickets. Gamble number 2: bailing out a failing crypto market. In the summer of 2022, the crypto market began to crash. Other major firms like Voyager and BlockFi went bankrupt. SBF stepped in, positioning himself as the industry's savior, bailing them out with hundreds of millions of dollars. The media called him the new JP Morgan. In reality, he was using stolen customer funds to buy up failing companies at a discount. Gamble number 3: the FTT token. This was the most crucial part of the con. FTX created its own cryptocurrency called FTT. It had no real value or utility, but Alameda bought massive amounts of it, artificially driving up the price. They then took this massively inflated FTT and used it as collateral to borrow real money from other crypto lenders. It was a house of cards. Alameda was borrowing billions of dollars of real money, backed by a worthless token they controlled, and all of it was funded by a secret backdoor to FTX's customer deposits. By late 2022, Alameda owed FTX customers a staggering $8 billion that it simply did not have. On November 2nd, 2022, the first domino fell. The crypto news outlet CoinDesk published a leaked balance sheet from Alameda Research. It confirmed what many had suspected. The company was a sham. Billions of its assets were not in real money, but in the FTT token that its sister company, FTX, had invented. The news sent a shockwave through the crypto world. The CEO of Binance, the world's largest crypto exchange and a major rival to FTX, saw the writing on the wall. Changpeng Zhao, or CZ, announced that Binance would be selling its entire $580 million position in the FTT token. This was a declaration of war. The price of FTT immediately began to crash. As FTT's price fell, panic set in. Everyone who had lent money to Alameda, with FTT as collateral, rushed to get their money back, and FTX customers, hearing the rumors, rushed to withdraw their funds from the exchange. It was a classic bank run, but the money wasn't there. SBF had secretly funneled it to Alameda, which had gambled it away on bad investments and bailouts. In a desperate text to his top executives, SBF admitted the truth. Alameda is unauditable. It has lost track of funds. Within 48 hours, FTX was forced to halt all customer withdrawals. The $32 billion empire was officially insolvent. On November 11, 2022, just 8 days after the CoinDesk report, FTX filed for bankruptcy. When the new CEO, John J. Ray III, the same man who oversaw the Enron liquidation, took over, he was horrified. He described the situation in a court filing. "Never in my career have I seen such a complete failure of corporate controls and such a complete absence of trustworthy financial information as occurred here. From compromised systems integrity and faulty regulatory oversight abroad to the concentration of control in the hands of a very small group of inexperienced, unsophisticated, and potentially compromised individuals, this situation is unprecedented. The fallout was immediate and catastrophic. Over 1 million FTX customers lost their life savings. The crypto market plunged, and the industry's reputation was left in tatters. Sam Bankman-Fried was arrested in the Bahamas and extradited to the United States. In November 2023, after a month-long trial, he was found guilty on all 7 criminal counts, including wire fraud, securities fraud, and money laundering. He faces over 100 years in prison. So, what can we learn from the FTX disaster? FTX operated largely offshore in the Bahamas to avoid strict US regulations. This allowed SBF to operate with zero oversight. Lesson 1. When a company deliberately avoids strong regulation, it's a massive red flag. FTX's growth was explosive and its promises were grand. But the world's most sophisticated investors ignored clear warning signs because they were blinded by the hype and the fear of missing out. Lesson 2. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Crypto was founded on the idea of decentralization, yet FTX was the opposite. A single, unaccountable person held all the power. He controlled the exchange, the trading firm, and the customer funds. Lesson 3. Power corrupts, and absolute power in finance corrupts absolutely. The story of FTX is more than just a business failure. It's a cautionary tale about the dangers of hype, greed, and the illusion of genius. Sam Bankman-Fried wasn't a visionary. He was a fraud who built an empire on stolen money, and when the music stopped, over 1 million people were left paying the price.